Kosuanity era one radio empenyini say yensoma na motenten yesoma banyasafo era one radio yedin sem anumuaye ebre.
Hello, beautiful people of Ghana. This is Banahine Specialist Hospital. We are so excited to announce to our people Ghana that we are finally opened and we are accepting patients. At Banahine Specialist Hospital, our extraordinary physicians and nurses are here to provide a high quality medical service to our extraordinary patients. Our services include primary care services, maternal, neonatal, and pediatric services. We also have an in-house pharmacy. We have x-ray and laboratory services available to you. Come to us for all your healthcare needs and you will be happy you did because we believe the health is wealth. Thank you and stay blessed.
Good evening, Era One radio listeners. Coming to you this evening live from Facebook and YouTube, Modern Ghana Radio and Laurel Live Radio tonight. Our calling number as usual is 240-280-2633. And if you want to text, it's 510-931-0946. And I'm your host, Charles Boison, for the Divine Connection Show. Well, I believe you're all doing well tonight, and it's my pleasure coming your way this evening. Of course, I would have loved my guests to be here, but as you can tell, they're not here at the moment, so I'm not going to let the studio live follow. We still want to bring you some educational material. We want to inform you, we want to entertain you, and we want you to join us and have a fruitful discussion. Tonight, I'm going to continue with what I started last week, that is being intentional about your personal growth. It is something that is dear to my heart because we have to make an effort intentionally to grow. No matter how we do, no matter what words you keep saying, if you don't put mind over it and put intentionality to it, it's not going to amount to anything. So tonight we want to continue with a book study that I started last week that is featuring Dr. John Maxwell's book, The 15 Invaluable Lessons on Growth. And so we're looking at the intentionality of our growth. All of us need to grow. We cannot just wish things to come into being. We have to make them come to pass. All right, let me take a quick commercial and then we'll continue.
Kosuanity era one radio empenyini say yensoma na motenten yesoma banyasafo era one radio yedin sem anumuaye ebrem.
All right, so I want to give out a big shout out to Dr. 32, our studio manager, our CEO, for making this platform available. And I also want to thank the Era One team. All right, so tonight there are a few updates. A couple of years ago, maybe getting into 3 years, China made us aware that there was a virus in the system, which later became the COVID-19 because it was discovered in 2019. We all thought COVID was going away, and I think it's pretty much going away. And then other stuff came in. And lately, we had the Ukraine-Russia war. And because of the intensity of that, we almost forgot about COVID. Now, most people don't even put on mask anymore, as though COVID is gone. Well, that also was lingering. We thought the Russian war was going to end in a week, but it's almost 2 months and it's still going on. Now, what we have in the system now is the issue on abortion for those in the United States. We had Roe versus Wade that was ruling the system. Now it's being rumored that it's going to be overturned or something's going to happen. I don't know how you see this issue and where it's going to take us. It's very pathetic. There are too many double standards in the country, in the world. We don't know where we stand. And so we'll see how it's going to run. And I believe Senate is gearing up to vote on what they think should be done. If they get their votes, that is what is going to, parade. So we'll see. We're just praying that the right thing comes to play. But anyway, as I said, we are discussing being intentional about your personal growth. We have to make an intentional effort to grow. It's like God saying that, tell my people that to start doing anything or to wait for God to do things, how about we start making things work so God will support us? Some believe that, okay, let me just chill, sit down and wait for God to do stuff for me. But God is also saying, I want you to make a move and I will direct you. So whilst you are waiting for the spiritual advice or counsel or whatever you want to call it, we have to make a move, and that's very important. So last week, I just want to go back a little bit, and for those who are not here, to do a little recap. I started this book study that I picked, Dr. John Maxwell's book, and we went through the growth mechanism, and there were some assumptions that came to light, and some of it was what? There were 8 assumptions that people actually stick to, which is a misnomer, and we have to stay away from them. Dr. Maxwell calls them the growth gaps. And so last week I mentioned the assumption gap, that people assume that they will automatically grow, which is not the point. And then the knowledge gap, I don't know how to grow. Some also believe that there's something called the timing gap. It is not the right time to begin. That is the assumption some people have. But it's always, every time is the best time to do something. Of course, there are some moments where you want to pray, you want to wait on God before you make a move. But sometimes we procrastinate too much and use that as an excuse. And so we don't make any move at all. That is what we're talking about. And then we have the mistake gap. The assumption is that I'm afraid of making mistakes. That is what some people believe, that I'm going to make a mistake. So because of that, I'm not even going to make a start at all. And then there's the perfection gap. I have to find the best way before I start. If you say you're going to look for the right opportunity to start something, a business or a venture, you might never start, because getting the perfect mix, or you want to meet the perfect lady before I marry, is going to be difficult. So you have to make some move. All right, then we have the inspiration gap. I don't feel like doing it. And last week I started the example where David inspired himself. He inquired of the Lord whether he should pursue. And God told him, boy, go. And he did, and he won victory. So sometimes you have to inspire yourself. If you're looking for inspiration outside, it may never come. So you have to make your own move. And then we also have the comparison gap. Others are better than I am. Many a time we do too many comparisons. We compare ourselves to other people. And as I said last week, the only time you want to do a comparison is to compare yourself to people who have made it big, and you want to study what they did or how they did it to be able to achieve that. Not just a matter of comparing yourself and demeaning yourself and thinking you don't amount to anything. It's not going to work that way. You have to be able to, see some comparison and move forward. And then the 8th one was the expectation gap. I thought it would be easier than this. Everybody starts a project and think it's going to be easy. Or some also look at the hugeness of the project and they don't even start at all. Sometimes things are not going to be easy. You're not going to have it placed on your lap. You have to anticipate problems and obstacles along the way, but you have to set your face as a flint and overcome any difficulty. So we're going to continue from there. And so tonight we're going to make a transition. We're going to make a transition to intentional growth. You've been stuck in the 8th assumption that we just mentioned. Now you want to move on. You want to put all the excuses behind you and you want to move on. And so that is what we're going to discuss tonight. As I said, if you want to join us, you can call in 240-280-2633, or you can text 510-931-0946. All right. Let's take a quick message from our real ladies. They were on this Sunday. They were spectacular on Mother's Day. And it was awesome to welcome them back after a little break. All right, so let's listen to their quick message.
They are 4 women. They are beautiful with brains. They are eloquent, decent, wise, and experienced. You have heard many, the funny. Now, it's time to hear the experience and the brainy. Meet Selena, Dorcas, Gifty, and Annette as they present the real in common getting. In common BIA says each the as in Takrenu assume the real in common getting. Showing live this and every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Era One Radio on Facebook and on YouTube, Era One Radio and Untitled channel. Kaise, so we tie the real in common getting ketia. What brabon tete? We nyan konkonsa. We the real in common getting kitty.
Discussion, as I said, my niece is joining us from UK Comfort. You are very, very, very welcome. All right, so we're talking about making the subtopic for our discussion, making the transition to intentional growth. We are going to intentionally make up our mind to grow. We're not going to get stuck to where we were yesterday or last year. We are going to make the effort that we want to grow this year. Whatever resolutions you put there for the 31st of December last year or the first day of January this year, you are going to make sure you are going to follow through. If by this time, the 5th month of the month, you haven't seen any signs of growth, tonight we are going to intentionally make the effort to revisit those resolutions and make them work. If you said you are going to lose 5 pounds or 10 pounds this year, it's not going to come by you just sitting on your couch and sloshing with the potato chips. It's not going to come that easy. You have to do something. If it means even running in your bedroom every day, you have to do something so that at the end of the year, you can be able to say that I set this goal and I made it. It's not going to come to you just like that. You have to. If you want to move over to a new job, whatever it is, a new project, they're not going to come easily and they're not going to be slapped into your lap. You have to go after them. And after you have prayed, don't sit there, move. All right, so John Maxwell makes this profound statement that I want to read. He says, growth accelerates if you become intentional about it, and it provides us a way or map to get it done. How do you do that? According to John, you have to ask the big question or big questions. You have to ask very important questions to get you to how you want to be intentional about your growth. This time we are working on ourselves. Everybody should have a time on their calendar where they spend time with yourself. Sometimes we don't even do that. We make calendar for projects, other things, but we don't even have time for ourselves. You have to deliberately make a calendar and put yourself there that I'm going to spend time with myself. And what are some of these questions? Where do you want to go in life? If you are 15, if you are 20, if you are 30, 40, 50, 70, you want to ask yourself, what is the next step? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go in life? What is the direction you want to go? Because if you know where you are going, then you're going to find the steps to get there. Right now, if I want to go to Atlanta, Georgia, either I can fly, not in terms of witchcraft, but then to board a plane or something, or I'm going to drive, I'm going to take a train, I'm going to ask for Uber, whatever. Once you know your destination, then you look for the goals to get there. Of course, you have the big vision, which Habakkuk chapter 2 enjoins us to put down, write it plainly. Now I know I'm going to Atlanta. How do I get there? It's going to be pretty difficult to walk, so I'm going to find some other means. And I'm going to buy air tickets. I'm going to drive my own vehicle there, take a train or whatever. You have to know where you are going, and then you look for the direction to get there. Thank God now we have MapQuest, whatever you want to use. We all have it on our phones everywhere. It will take you there. You have to know where first you're going. It's like somebody who boards a plane and he or she is asked, where are you going? The person says, I don't know, wherever the plane is going, I'm going. That is not what you want to do. You want to know where you are going. And what is the farthest you can imagine going? One Pastor Otabe said one thing, that nobody is going to place a charge on you for making weird imaginations. If you want to think that you want to go to the moon next year, nobody is going to charge you for thinking that big. If you want to buy a Rolls Royce next year, nobody is going to fault you or take you to jail because you just made that huge imagination. How far do you want to go? That is the question. And how are you going to get there? What is the direction you're going to get there? Once you know where you want to go, the direction you want to go, and how far you want to go, then you can make that intentional decision that this is what I want to achieve for the year. All right. The next thing is that, okay, now you've made your decision. Are you going to procrastinate? Are you going to sit there and wish, oh, I wish my uncle who died last year or 4 years ago will resurrect and come and help me? Too late. Do it now. The word is do it now. Take procrastination from your dictionary. Make it happen now instead of saying, oh, later. And when you retire to bed, ask yourself, did I do it? And last week, I did mention something like short-term goals and long-term goals. If you have long-term goals, of course, it's going to take you much, more years to achieve them. So you have them in your mind that this is what I want to achieve in 5 years or 10 years. But you have short-term goals. Oh, tomorrow, God willing, if Jesus doesn't come up, there's no rapture, and I wake up tomorrow, this is what I'm going to do. And you have to make sure the things that you put down, you do them. We are all guilty. I mean, we all find ourselves making plans that never come to pass or we don't follow through. But once you have made up you want to do it, you have to do it. Take away procrastination, because those are some of the things that hinder us from going forward. You decide you want to do it, do it. Don't say, I know I need to fix my finances, but I will do it later. And Dr. Maxwell says, later is a dream killer. Later, that word later, I'll do it later, is a dream killer. You want to do it now. If it is something that can be done now, do not procrastinate, because as you keep adding days, eventually realize that you can't do it. And then the other point is that face the fear factor. Face the fear factor. Of course, we all go through fears every now and then. You want to start a huge project and you are scared. How am I going to get there? How do I get rid of finances? There's that fear. But sometimes, if you make the first step, the rest becomes very easy to follow through. We have all kinds of fears. We have the fear of failure. I'm afraid I'm going to fail. Fear of trading your security for the unknown. Now you feel like you're very comfortable in life. If you venture something that you don't succeed, then you have lost. So whatever you had earlier on is gone forever. Life is full of risk. Fear of being overextended financially. Of course, every good thing most often comes with a price. We didn't buy salvation. It came to us free. But even that, somebody had to lay down his life. So even salvation wasn't free. We didn't pay for it, but somebody laid down his life so that we will receive that salvation. Fear of what others will say or think. This is one of the areas that most of us fall short of. What are people going to think if I start and I fail? If I pull through and it doesn't work? We are always scared of what others are going to say. But if you will go beyond what others think, you will get through. Fear that success will annihilate peers. Some people also have the belief that when I succeed or make progress, my friends are going to shun me. Do you know that when you prosper, you get more friends? That is also one thing. Some people fear that, okay, if I make it, maybe the higher level I go, people will alienate themselves from me. If you continue looking at those fears, then you're not going to amount to anything. But what you have to think instead is that feed your faith and starve your fear. It's an inverse proportional thing. You either elevate one and abase one. You can't have both at the same time. So when you feed your faith and you're optimistic that you can make it, then fear vanishes. I mean, assuming being in a room full of darkness, as soon as that small little light from your phone or somewhere comes through, it begins to shine. And Paul admonishes us in 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. He says, "For God hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." God did not give us a spirit of fear. He gave us power, what you call the dynamis. He asked us to have dominion and to have a sound mind. If you have this combination, you can break through. And then we also have to change from accidental to intentional. Do not let things happen to you by chance. Of course, every now and then stuff happens to us and we are grateful it did. But do not let things begin to happen to you accidentally. Make sure you are being intentional about some things. Of course, accidents can happen. Some things can help. I mean, if you happen to win lotto, that's fine. Good for you. But how many people win lotto? It doesn't come every day. So you have to be intentional. If you want to prosper, you're not going to sit down and always be dreaming that, oh, I am going to win lotto and so it's going to come easy. No, that is not what it's going to be. All right. So this is a scripture that I pulled out. Many of us believe that things will happen on their own by accident. Quite often, that is not true. Quite often, maybe 80%, 90%, it doesn't happen that way. You have to put in effort. And somebody said, well, success is what? 5% inspiration and 95% perspiration. You have to sweat. You have to pull up that sweat to be able to succeed. And Isaiah 50 verse 7 says, For the Lord will help me, therefore shall I not be confounded. Therefore have I set my face like a flint, and I know that I shall not be ashamed. What is a flint? A flint is a very hard sort of dark rock, which is used figuratively to express hardness in the Bible, just like the firmness of a horse's hooves. Very hard, very strong. So set your face like a flint. Do not be moved. If you set your goal and you know you're going to make it, make it. There are people who have set up their mind, they're going to be medical doctors, and they made it. There are many who wanted to graduate as masters or bachelors or whatever, and there were so many obstacles, but eventually they made it. All right, so we want to look at a comparison between something that happens to you accidentally and something that you make intentionally to happen. There are some things that can happen to you intentionally. There are others that you make to happen. And that's what we're going to focus on. All right. I've been talking to myself. Let me take a quick, announcement here, and then we will continue in a jiffy. All right.
Hello, beautiful people of Ghana. This is Boison Specialist Hospital. We are so excited to announce to our people Ghana that we are finally opened and we are accepting patients. At Boison Specialist Hospital, our extraordinary physicians and nurses are here to provide a high-quality medical service to our extraordinary patients. Our services include primary care services, maternal, neonatal, and pediatric services. We also have an in-house pharmacy. We have x-ray and laboratory services available to you. Come to us for all your healthcare needs, and you will be happy you did, because we believe the health is wealth. Thank you, and stay blessed.
So I believe this big hospital in Ghana, Boison Hospital, started by making very strong goals that this is what we want to do. They set up the goal, they set up their vision, and they became intentional about it. They looked for a land, they did a search, make sure the land is genuine. They started their foundation, make sure they had the resources behind them. And lo and behold, they had this medical structure that is built that many people can go for medical attention. All right, so we're going to look at the difference, the comparison between accidental growth and being intentional and intentional growth. So if somebody says, okay, I want to grow accidentally, what that person is trying to say is that they want to plan to start tomorrow. But the person who is intentional will insist on starting today. And as the economics will say, all things being equal. All things being equal, this person wants to insist on starting today if they have all the resources, instead of starting later and saying, okay, let me keep procrastinating. The accidental growth person will say, I want to start tomorrow. And that tomorrow comes, keep saying tomorrow. As we all know, we say tomorrow never comes. So you want to be intentional, insist on doing it. It might not be exactly today, but make the effort that you are going to go on to what you plan. Growth that happens accidental also waits for growth. That person will wait to grow. But then if the person is intentional, it takes complete responsibility to grow. You have to be responsible to grow. You want to make up that effort that you really, really, really want to grow. The risk that accident